What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is our 100th video. Thank you for staying with us, asking questions, posting in the comments box. We want to get back at you with any information that you want about cars, leasing, financing, trade-ins, trade cycles, all different types of things car business. Thank you so much for being here for the 100th video. Today's something special for me. We're going to be talking about what happens when you get older and you're on a fixed income and something happens to your car. I want you guys to start thinking about this when you're my age or younger, so that when this happens to you, you won't have problems dealing with it. So this is what we're going to be talking about today, is basically what happens when you get older and your car gets totaled. How do you manage having a car payment or budgeting for a vehicle or figuring out a way to pay cash for a car? I'm going to give you some stuff to think about so that as you age, you'll be able to figure this out for yourself and which particular process works best for you. And we're going to start right now. So check this out. I did some research on vehicles and how much they increase in value every year. I strike that. How much they increase in price every year. Value, they always go down. But we're talking about how much new cars go up in price every year. And if you Google it yourself, you'll find that I found that number is 4% on average, about 4%. You can go and break down different segments of automobiles like cars, trucks, SUVs. Everybody wants an SUV right now, and those things are around 3.7% per year that they're increasing. So if you buy a car now, fast forward 5 years, if you go buy another one, it's going to be 20% more. So keep that in mind as we're talking about this, because it's going to come back full circle in just a minute. So there's basically 3, possibly 4 ways that people buy cars in today's market. The first way is you write a check. Like, you're just going to stroke one check, including taxes, cash deal. This is not something that's going to be tied to a home equity loan or any type of loan whatsoever. This is cash you have in the bank. You're writing a check for that vehicle. That's not a bad way to buy cars. It doesn't age well over time in my mind. And as I'm talking about this, guys, these are just my opinions. So if you have comments, or if you want to add value to the channel and help people think about this, put those comments in the box. So first of all, you can write a check for a vehicle. That will give you full ownership along with all the responsibility and risk therein. The other way you can purchase a vehicle is through doing a loan. So you can sign up for a loan, you can put cash down, you can finance 100%. There's different types of ways of doing that. But long-term loans are just basically what people are doing. 60 months, 72 months, 84 months. You've heard this stuff before. That's the other way of obtaining a vehicle. The other way is basically leasing a vehicle. So you can lease a vehicle for a short period of term, 36 to 39 months. At the end of that term, you turn the car back in, or you can purchase it on your own, which I never really advise. But leasing is a great way of finding a vehicle as well. The fourth way that nobody really talks about is trade. Like, you have a vehicle that's worth $20,000 and you want to trade that vehicle for a car that's worth $15,000. You could do that. So that's another way of obtaining a vehicle and then keeping it for a long period of time. Now, if you've been watching the channel for any amount of time or looking at any of my other videos, what you find is that I have information on lots of ways to purchase vehicles and information on what I think about specific situations. But what I'm trying to dictate to you right now is a problem I've seen in the marketplace. People that are like 65 and older, they bought a car 5 or 6 years ago. Keep in mind what I said earlier, right? They increase 4% a year. So they bought a car about 5 years ago, and now they're on a fixed income. So they're on Social Security, a pension, whatever it is, and their car gets totaled. So let me make that very clear. So bought a car 5 years ago, you're 60, you're 65 now, you're on a fixed income, and the car that you purchased for cash and did not have a payment on gets totaled. Hailstorm, another driver hits you, you're in an accident yourself. This happens all the time, and I see it more and more with my elderly clients. Now, these folks didn't really budget for long-term having a car payment. They thought, 5 years ago, we wrote a check for our car, or we financed the car and paid it off, or whatever, right? They just knew, hey, we don't need another car. We're getting ready to retire, and everything's going to be fine, and we're not going to have a payment. But what happens is that car gets totaled, and now the prices of the cars have increased 20% or more. from when they purchased their car. They would like another one just like it, but they don't have the cash, they don't have the budget for a payment, or budgeting for a lease. They have none of this stuff set up or thought about. So when that car gets totaled, they just get a check for the insurance company for about half the value. Let's say they spent $20,000 on that car. Now you get a check for like 5 years later, like $12,000, $13,000, and you need to replace that car now. Does that stuff hitting you like, you got to replace it now, 5 years later, the prices have gone up 20%, and this is all the money you have. So the whole purpose of this video is just to start the thinking about it now. So if you're my age, I'm 50 years old, you're going to be aging, I need you to understand, in my opinion, you're always going to have some type of transportation costs. So when you're doing your financial planning and you're like, hey, I made it to retirement, we're going to get Social Security, keep in mind you're going to need transportation costs. You may not need it on the day you turn 65 and retire because you own that car for cash. But you are going to know, all right, Ronnie said this is going to happen one day. My car's going to stop working, it's going to blow up, it's going to get hit by a meteor, whatever happens, and I'm not going to get enough money from my insurance company to replace this car with what I had. So I'm going to need to be able to budget $300 to $500 a month to purchase a vehicle. Also keep in mind that $300 to $500 a month for a vehicle does not include insurance. So I'm really looking at this 5 years from now is you're going to need $500 or $600 a month to drive a nice car that's comfortable in your retirement age forever. And so if you budget for that, you should be fine. I've got plenty of cars that work in that range right now. SUVs that lease for around $350 plus insurance. You're fine. You're good to go. And I don't see those things climbing $200 a year. I think they're going to inch up a little bit, but they also ebb and flow. And you should be able to find transportation if you're leasing in that range. Or if you want to purchase, you got to do the math. A $20,000 car is around $400 a month for X amount of years, and you may or may not need money down. So you're going to just have to start budgeting and planning for this. How many of you know someone that's like, yep, this is the last car I'm going to buy. I don't have any more payments for the rest of my life. I wish you were right. I really do. But what ends up happening is hailstorms, stuff like that. Whatever it is, stuff ends up destroying these cars, or they get stolen, and you just never have enough money to recover. Insurance only makes you whole based on the day the car is lost. So, and they look at the value. They look at NADA, they look at comps, they look at the marketplace. It is very difficult to replace a vehicle 5 years later fully if it gets stolen or totaled or whatever. So if you're a financial planner, please talk to your clients about what they're going to do for their transportation budget. They're going to look at you and they're going to go, I paid off my car 5 years ago. We don't need another car. And it's like, okay, I'm very proud of you for doing that. But what's going to happen is at some point that's going to come to an end. And we're going to have to budget for transportation if you want to keep being independent and doing whatever you want to do. So my thought process on a good solution for this entire thing is not to get you to spend more money. I don't want you to have to spend $500 to $600 a month or $300 to $400 a month or whatever number is going to work in your budget. What I want you to understand and take with you from this video is you're going to need to budget for it. So pay off your car, that's fine. Or lease cars consecutively and move on and know that you're always going to have a payment, but you're always going to have a new car. Those are really going to be your options, right? So if you pay off a car, you get to retirement, I'm good, I don't have a payment, I'm not foreseeing having a payment for a long period of time, I bought a Toyota, all of these things that people say, that's fine, I love that. I love that you don't have a payment. But what I need you to do is budget for it. Have it in an emergency spending category. Like this might come to an end at some point. It usually happens when you least want it to. It's nice if you're prepared for it. So 2 basic solutions. Be ready to have a car payment and pay off another car and then keep that one as long as you can. Or continue to lease cars every 3 years, and then eventually maybe you don't need to drive as much and you can do something else. But just know that it's going to happen. Some bad things I've seen, guys, is people that had cars for 12 years, the cars get totaled and they get a $3,000 check. You cannot replace their car for that money. They're basically stuck at that point, and so you don't want to find yourself in that position. Well, we knew this one would be quick today. It's just a quick video that I've been seeing a lot of this particular thing coming up, and I wanted to put this information out. It is my 100th video. So if you're tuning in today, thank you very much. Thank you for your channel support. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll check you out next time.